Speaking of Mike DeWine, he is up for re-election in 2022. November 8th is election day, and he has a opponent running against him in the Democratic Party named Nan Wheatley, W-H-A-L-E-Y. Nan Wiley is running for governor. She is, I believe, either the former mayor of Dayton or the current mayor of Dayton. I'm not exactly sure. Let me pull up her website here and see if it says. And there's a couple things I want to talk about. Let's see. For the last 7 years, Nan had the honor of serving as Dayton, Ohio mayor. So I'm going to assume she's still the mayor of Dayton, right? Sure. Or maybe she's just now finished her term and now she's running for governor. I don't know. But she has 2 ads that I've seen. The first one that I saw was, in my opinion, kind of a stupid ad. It was like a YouTube ad. It was like 15 seconds long, and it had like the logo for the Vax-A-Million program in Ohio, and it said Waste a Million, and it had a chart, like this fancy X chart that had like vaccine numbers going down and tax dollars going up, and it like showed the 2 cross and then dip down, and it did like the little slide whistle thing. And that was it. And it just said, waste a million, tax dollars going up, vaccines going. It was stupid. In my view, it probably wasn't the first. It wasn't the best ad to run as your first internet ad if you're trying to get a younger audience, because every single young person I've talked to thinks that the Vax-A-Million is a great idea. So probably missed the mark on that one, Nan. But what I really wanted to get into was her longer form ad. I saw, again, the ad on YouTube, and I believe she's running this on television as well. It's 2 minutes long, and I'm going to play it here. I'm going to play it all the way through, and we're going to talk about it. If you're listening, once it's done, I will go over it again and kind of let you know what's going on. And if you're watching, well, then you're watching. So this is Nan Wiley hopefully they say her name in here so I know how to pronounce her last name. I don't remember if they do or not. But anyway, let's go for it.
I've got a question for you. What does somebody from Dayton know about tough? What can a town like this teach Ohio about strength?
They're showing scenes of Dayton and people looking
more
tough,
than most.
driving bulldozers and abandoned buildings,
has,
and people taking
out,
deep breaths.
Opioids in, Mother Nature running wild, a gunman changing everything in 32 seconds. It molds you, puts a little steel in your spine, makes you strong enough to stand up to the biggest bullies and fight for your own.
She said stand up to the biggest bullies, and it showed an image of her yelling at Donald Trump.
To be as tough as the people of Dayton and the people who raised me. To me, tough is my dad, a union auto worker who lost his job but never lost his dignity. And tough is my mom, who went to work at the laundromat behind our house to make ends meet.
And showing old family photos.
Growing up in a small Indiana town, Ohio was the big time. When you love a place this much, you keep your eye on the ball despite the noise. It's how I passed universal pre-K for every student regardless of zip code, and bolstered manufacturing while keeping our region competitive. We could use a little more tough in Columbus, a little bit of strength of character to call out right from wrong.
So what do you have to say to Ohio?
Because right
they're
now,
showing scenes of the Larry Householder
is just the way things are done.
Expulsion.
And our leaders are too weak to do something. If we're going to rebuild Ohio, give our kids the education we've long promised but never delivered, where all you need is one good job to give your family everything they need, then we need to break up the monopoly on political power in Columbus, where the same crew has been in charge for 30 years. It's time for a governor from the middle class, not another millionaire. It's time for a mayor who's been on the front lines of Ohio's toughest challenges. It's time for a little bit of Dayton toughness in Columbus.
So I heard her pronounce her name. It's Wiley. That's the ad. Now, it's a decent ad for the first advertisement that you're going to put out to introduce yourself to Ohio voters for the governor role. But the problem I have with ads like this and candidates like this who put together a fancy looking website, I'll show some screen grabs of the website, and if you're not watching the video, either the highlight or the full length version, I'll put a link to her website in the show notes. But anyway, the problem I have with ads like that and websites that are set up like this is there is absolutely zero information about what sort of policies she is looking to implement. Okay, she mentioned universal pre-K in her ad, and she mentioned bolstering manufacturing while keeping the area competitive. Does that mean antitrust? Does that mean, I don't know, because she doesn't say. Doesn't mean anything. In her website, it says, her backstory, falling in love with Ohio, her dad losing her job, everything she said in the ad, leading Dayton's comeback, talking about when she got elected in 2013. Let's see. It just says she brought people together with the community's toughest challenges, tackling the opioid crisis, cutting overdose death by half. I mean, if that's true, that's awesome. Saving hundreds of lives, yada, yada. She led the fight to get the universal pre-K for every 4-year-old in the city. Let's see. Talking about a KKK rally that she tried to... What? Over the last 2 years, Dayton has been tested at times with crisis like KKK rally and a series of devastating tornadoes. See this mass shooting, 9 people dead. Each time Nan stepped up and led her city through its hardest moments. Okay. Controversial statement coming from Grant right now. You can't lump together a KKK rally, tornadoes, and a mass shooting all in the same paragraph and try and make them out to be the same things, because they're not. I hate the KKK. I think they shouldn't be a thing, but they are a thing. You know why they're a thing? Because we have the First Amendment in this country. I don't agree with them at all, but they have the right to have rallies. I'm sorry, that's the way it is, okay? You don't have to agree with them. I hate the KKK, and you should too. They're a horrible organization. But that doesn't mean that they don't deserve the right to be an organization and have rallies and speak, because that's what this country was founded on. Easy as that. Tornadoes, that's a natural disaster. Can't really lump those two in the same category. Now, good for Miss Wiley for standing up to the city and helping rebuild after the natural disasters. Awesome. And then the mass shooting. I don't know much about the Dayton mass shooting other than it left 9 people dead and it was a horrible situation. And if she came through for the city and held a heartwarming event after it, that's awesome. But you can't lump those 3 things into the same category and say that you stepped up for the hardest moments, because they're very different things, okay? Very different things. Let's build back. Let's build better. Let's build a better Ohio. She's running for governor because she knows our state is fundamentally broken. That's the same bullshit every politician says that's trying to run for some significant office. Special interests, corrupt politicians, been in charge for 30 years. We've heard that before. But there's no policy ideas or policy proposals in the site. There's zero. There's a bunch of spots to donate, and there's a volunteer tab where you can volunteer and get contact information and like host a party and shit like that. And there's a store where you can buy merch. I'm gonna assume it's just a bunch of her merch, t-shirts, buttons, coffee mugs, that sort of thing. She mentioned unions in her ad twice. But there's nothing on her website that has actual policy. And that's why I feel like she's probably going to lose. Because we've seen this time and time and time again. When politicians try and run for an office, and all they do is grandstand and have a bunch of rhetoric that people like, but then there's no legitimate policy questions, that's where you lose on the margins. Because people who are actually politically aware and vote on policy issues, those are the people that you want to get, by the way, because those are the people who vote every time. They tune out because they don't think you're legit. They don't think you're realistic. I need policy ideas. I need what you're going to do with Medicare. I need to know what you're going to do. How are you going to bring manufacturing back? What is the policy around your childhood pre-K? So, like I said, there's a long time until the 2022 midterm. A long time. There's over a year. I think I saw something on Twitter yesterday that was like 380 some odd days or something, 300 some odd days until election day. So maybe she'll update her website and put some policy ideas on there. Or maybe she'll put out some new ads where she'll have some sort of policy ideas in the advertisements. That's what we're looking for, because you can say that you're going to build Ohio back. You can say that you're going to fight corruption. You can say that you fought for Dayton in its toughest moments. But when I don't see, and voters don't see, the written word of what you're going to do, other than just saying, I'm going to do X, then they're going to tune you out, because we've heard it before. From every single person running for every single office, they say the same shit, and they don't actually have policies, right? And that's what we need. We need more policy.